Welcome back to the U.S. Navy History Podcast. I am Dale, and I am joined by Christoph.
Pew pew pew. It's me. Hello, everybody.
Why are you pewing?
Because it's a familiar way of like, hey, we're buds. I'm saying hello. I'm not shooting anybody,
Okay.
or sorry, pewing anybody. I don't know what.
Pewing.
Not pewing. Well, I am pewing, but it's not
You said
like
pew.
pewing. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay. Well, let's. Maybe we should just move on. You look
Okay.
uncomfortable.
All right. So back to our Enterprise coverage, covering all the Enterprises.
Yeah.
So we were with CVN 65, if you remember that.
It's a good CVN
The first nuclear powered aircraft carrier.
with way too many reactors. Oh yes,
Mm.
a fine
All right.
ship.
So you ready to get underway?
Yes, indeed.
Let's get back into it. All right. So we are going to come in to September of 2003.
Hmm.
Uh, from then until February of 2004, the Enterprise deployed to relieve the four carriers that are on station during the invasion of Iraq.
Wow.
Her role was to provide continuous air support for Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Cole, if you remember what
Yeah.
happened to her in
1998.
2000,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
she was bombed.
Mhm.
She is now repair and on the Enterprise's battle group.
Nice.
O Tour was held aboard the Enterprise while she was at sea, where the wrestler Kurt Angle,
Mm,
the NASCAR racer Mike Wallace,
cool.
and a comedian you know very well, Robin Williams.
Ah, yeah.
They performed and talked to them.
Nice. How does a NASCAR guy perform at sea? Like, I just picture him doing laps on the deck, on the flight deck. Maybe not.
No, it's going to be more of a table talk,
Okay.
meet and greet,
I will say,
autograph.
if I saw a dude in a NASCAR doing hot laps on top of a carrier at sea, that would be pretty rad.
Well, I don't care how good of a driver. If you're trying to go around that deck
It's
at 200 miles an hour, you're going right off of.
Well, you don't go 200 on the turns, but yes, that would have quickly turned into a rescue mission. But
Yeah,
what a photo op.
yeah, of his car just
It's just slowly
flying off the flight deck.
Okay, yes, sorry. Continue.
So the boat made several protocols to Jebel Ali. They made a stop in Bahrain, where they got to meet up with Ben Affleck. They went to Italy and Cartagena, Spain, on the way home. During this time, the battle group was commanded by Admiral James Starverdis, and Captain Eric Niedlinger was the CO.
Mm, nice.
So in 2005, they went back into the shipyard for another routine overhaul, which again happens after every deployment.
Mhm.
And this was at Newport News Shipyard in Newport News, Virginia. When she left the yard period, she ran through a sandbar.
What?
Yup. This caused the all eight reactors to scram,
Oh.
which means that she was DIW for 3 hours until she was tugged back to her pier at Norfolk Naval Base.
Uh, So you said in a previous episode that if a ship hits a sandbar, that's kind of a career-ending move a lot of times. Is that accurate, you think?
Oh, yeah. That more than likely, while don't exactly I don't have the information for the CO getting fired, more than likely the CO got fired.
Yeah. That's oh gosh. And all the reactors went off. Oh man. Sorry.
Yeah. So it took about 3 days for the machinist mates to clear her condensers of the river mud.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all those intakes are full open and
Yep.
you hit a sandbar, all that mud's going right up into all those open ports.
Ah. Well, I guess the important thing is that we're okay.
Oh, yeah, no, we're fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been so much worse.
Yeah, no, in 2006, I was already back in Texas.
Yeah, that good. I'm glad. Because I mean, you could have yeah, I didn't. I wasn't even enlisted. So, I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, you were safe the entire time
Yeah. Well, I
from
mean,
that.
yeah, yeah, from that.
Yeah. So, in May 2006, she departed for her next 6-month deployment. She operated in the 6th, 5th, and 7th Fleet areas and in a world tour.
Wow.
She supported operations in Iraq and for Operation Enduring Freedom. She visited ports in Dubai, Hong Kong, and she crossed the line. She returned to Norfolk on November 18th of 2006.
I'm astonished every time you say an incrementally later date. I'm just like, this is the ship that supported the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it's still afloat. Amazing.
Hmm. So, contrary to tradition, she left on another deployment in December of 2007, and that was a pretty nothing much happened deployment. She came back after 6 months, but she went to the Persian Gulf. So after the second deployment in 2008, in April, she went into the shipyards again for a 18-month extended docking, selected restricted availability. This is a very, very big overhaul.
Okay.
Uh, Her completed projection date was in September of 2009. Of course, as the maintenance got underway, the costs continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the projections on her completion date got slid further, further, further.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. So she was scheduled to be commissioned i- in 2000, but because of the increased cost and her age, Admiral Gary Roughhead, who was the chief of naval operations, said that he wanted to get Congress disposition to speed up the decommissioning of the Enterprise.
Oh, Gary, come on.
Yeah, so under this new timeline, she would have one final deployment before being decommissioned in 2012 or 2013. Yeah, he's not a good guy. That was mean of him.
Yeah, well, I'll reserve my judgment for off the air. We'll talk.
Why? You can shout it out on air.
Oh, man. But they might come after me.
Oh, they've already shut down of all of our merch.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
already coming after us.
Man, okay. So, I don't know. I this is a storied carrier and should be celebrated as such, and it just for the sake of how long can we keep this going, I would love for that to keep going, and it was just shut down. One guy decided.
Well,
Boo. I'm doing thumbs down, y'all.
he is very violently too. So this would reduce the U.S. Navy to only 10 active carriers through the launch of the General Ford in 2015. In October of 2009, the House and Senate Armed Services Committee agreed with the recommendation, approving her decommissioning in 2013 after 51 years of service. They still got their money's worth out of her. That's
Yeah,
51
51
years.
years is a long time for a ship.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give that to them. But it could have been like can you imagine a 100-year anniversary? And it's like, okay, now we'll decommission it. Her
Mhm.
that
In April of 2010, the Navy announced that the cost of refurbishing her had risen to 655 million
Whoa. Okay. Okay.
and was scheduled to be completed that month. So on April 19th, she left the shipyard to conduct SEAL trials in preparation for her to return to the fleet. The total cost of her refurbishing was 662 million. That's 46% over budget. It took 8 months longer than it was originally scheduled.
Oh man. You know,
Then
I could see
Huh?
that. Okay, so um I've worked in certain industries where technology can get old and trying to find replacement parts for things like you can substitute a lot of things, you can redesign a couple things, but some items just have to be, yeah, we got this chip in 1982 and we need that chip or something like it, and it just gets harder and harder to find and so more and more expensive. And I imagine if you had something the size of a carrier, it would be even more so. You know what I mean?
Well, I was not able to actually see her main spaces,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to describe differences between, the Enterprise technology and then the technology on my own boat at the time. But you mean lots of things don't change ever. But then again, lots of things do change.
Yeah. I'm sure you walk in the main space, there's a calendar from 1965. It's like, "We need to update this. This is crazy."
Oh, that's just there for the girl, the pinup girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't make those anymore.
All right. So the Navy stated at that time that it's going to use her for 2 more 6-month deployments before decommissioning her in 2013.
Alright.
So on January 1st, 2011, the Virginian pilot leaked highlights from the final video of a set entitled XO Movie Night that was filmed on Enterprise and aired via closed circuit television on select Saturday evenings. Now, the videos were not meant for release outside of the Enterprise. They were produced by Captain Owen Honors, and he was the XO of the boat in the 2006 2007 times. And it included profanity, anti gay slurs, and sexually suggestive scenes.
In the Navy?
Yeah.
I I must say I'm floored.
hmm So, Captain Honors received public support from Navy personnel, but on January 4th, Admiral John C. Harvey Jr., who was the commander of the United States Fleet Forces Command in Norfolk, removed him for demonstrating poor judgment.
Mm. Is that, behavior unbecoming of an officer in that genre?
Quite possibly.
Alright.
Yeah.
See, I'm fulfilling my duties as an XO, understanding all that stuff.
hmm So he was replaced by Captain D. Mewburn. Also, 40 officers and enlisted sailors, which included 6 flag officers, were disciplined by various extents over this incident.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like you guys are about to go out. Why are you doing
yeah.
embarrassing stuff?
Man, and keel hauls nowadays are so much worse because the keel is so much bigger than it used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, you're down there a while.
Yeah, if you're going to be keel hauling the carrier, you're not surviving.
It's just It's like an hour later. Oh, there he is.
So the Enterprise and her strike group deployed on January 13th of 2011. They accompanying her on this cruise were Carrier Air Wing 1, the guided missile cruiser Layat Gulf, and the guided missile destroyers Barry, Berkeley, and Mason. In February 2011, she was involved in an incident with Somali pirates. This event ended with the deaths of 4 American citizens and 2 pirates.
Oh,
According to official reports provided by the Navy, 2 pirates died, with another 2 dying at an unknown earlier time. So, of course, we don't know exactly how much truth is in there.
well, it's the Navy, man. It's good.
It's the Navy.
So Barry, Mason, and Berkeley, huh? Those are the names of those. I don't know. I like Enterprise. That's a pretty bold name, but when you start naming them like, oh, hey, I'm on my way to the Montessori, and then these are the names of the kids there. It's just kind of a weird name for a ship.
Well, these are all named after people.
Oh, okay. Then
Like Barry was named after Commodore John Barry, father of
oh,
the American Navy. Mason was named in honor of black crew members who served on board.
okay. Well, I'm
The
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that was totally good. Yeah, yeah. Good choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She returned to Norfolk on July 15th of 2011. During her deployment, she had participated in operations that captured 75 Somali pirates and made missile strikes against the Libyan government. On March 11th of 2012 was the beginning of her final deployment
Wow.
with the ships USS Vicksburg, Porter, Nitz, and James E. Williams. And on April 9th, 2012, the Navy announced that she and her group, Carrier Strike Group 12, would be assigned to join the Abraham Lincoln in the Persian Gulf. The mission was described as routine, not in a response to a specific threat. Wink, wink. Upon completion of this cruise in fall of 2012, she was officially taken out of service and was ordered to report back immediately to Norfolk for immediate deactivation and eventual decommissioning. In October, she transited the Suez Canal for the very last time. She visited her last port of call when she went to Naples, Italy, which actually had been her first port of call 50 years earlier.
Wow. No way.
On November 4th, 2012, she returned home to Norfolk Naval Station for the last time. During this last journey, she cruised nearly 81,000 miles in a 238-day deployment to the Persian Gulf. Her aircraft flew more than 2,000 sorties in support of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Wow.
So she was deactivated on December 1st of 2012. Her deactivation resulted in a one-time increase of approximately $857.3 million in deposit maintenance costs.
Wait, what? So it costs that much to turn it off? 800. Whoa. Okay. I'm not sure how that works. If there's a listener out there that understands the finances behind decommissioning a ship, please let us know, because I am lost.
It costs money to mothball a boat.
Yeah. I didn't imagine it would be that much money, because they were saying the total repairs that went 40% over budget were, what did you say, like 655 million? And this is more than that. Obscene.
So, since Enterprise was the first nuclear powered aircraft carrier to be decommissioned, naval enthusiasts requested that she be converted into a museum. And by 2012, this was deemed too expensive
Oh,
to make such a effort practical because she would have to be partially dismantled to remove the 8 reactors safely and then, put back together and everything like that.
you can't leave the reactors in there. They're not hurting anybody. Come on.
They will.
They're off. Please.
That material is still in there,
That's true.
and it takes very specialized maintenance to make sure that material stays in there.
Yeah, that could be a catastrophe.
Not to mention the whole uh, security issues resulting from, you know, millions of civilians visiting her.
Mm, yeah, I guess that's a good move.
But at the same time that this decision was made, a petition was set up to name the next carrier as the ninth Enterprise.
That's cheaper, let me tell you, than removing those 8 reactors.
Yes, yes. It's just a piece of paper you get people to sign.
That's right.
All right.
Oh,
At the inactivation ceremony, the Secretary of the Navy, Rob Manbus, announced that the next General R. Ford class carrier, CVN-80, would be named Enterprise.
yeah, nice.
On February 8th of 2013, the U.S. Department of Defense announced that a number of nuclear projects would have to be postponed until an upcoming budget issue was resolved. This include the planned defueling of the Enterprise, as well as midlife overhauls of 2 Nimitz class. The contract for defueling the Enterprise was eventually awarded in June of 2013. In October of 2014, Newport News announced that one of the Enterprise's anchors, removed from her during deactivation, had been transferred to the Nimitz class Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wow, nice.
In early 2017, it was announced that steel from the Enterprise would be recycled and used to construct the new Enterprise.
That's cool.
hmm Over 35,000 pounds of steel had been removed from uh, CVN-65 to be put into CVN-80.
That's awesome. I am ignorant of that process, but I'm glad they're able to reuse the steel that way.
hmm the crew of the ship's final deployment built a time capsule constructed from the Enterprise's steel and wood to preserve the carrier's history for the new Enterprise.
You know that 1965 calendar's in there, right?
Oh, absolutely. The final reactor was defueled in December of 2016, with the Enterprise officially decommissioned on February 3rd of 2017. That same day, they struck her name from the registry.
What a lifespan. That's
Mhm.
just I'm really super impressed. I mean,
Yeah. So, according to the Naval Sea System Command, the recycling of the Enterprise was delayed by the Navy until further information on more technologically ex- executable in environmentally responsible approaches for disposing of her are available. On April 10th of 2018, Newport News Shipbuilding announced that the Enterprise inactivation process had been completed and she was stored at Hampton Roads while while disposal plans were determined by the Navy.
as a youth, I would go to construction sites that were nearby, and it was fun to play in the houses that are being built or that might be abandoned or something. Didn't happen a lot,
Mhm.
but it did happen a couple times. Can only imagine living in Hampton Roads and seeing the in pieces Enterprise and how cool it would have been to run around that. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
sure it's guarded, probably
Oh,
making
of
it
course.
difficult.
It's on a naval base.
Yeah. Ugh. Spoiling all the
Um,
fun of those kids in Hampton Roads.
this is her sitting alongside her replacement.
Oh, that's cool. For listeners who would like to see the picture also, I think Dale is generously going to upload it to the Discord, and you are welcome to join it to see pictures like that and chat with folks that are there.
I sent it to you so you could do that. You like doing
Oh,
that.
well, that's right. I'm the XO, which means do it, buddy.
Do it, buddy. So the final plan for her is going to be a long, complicated process. She had 8 reactors and numerous compartments contaminated by radiation. So this means that she can't be used as a target ship in a Sync X or live fire training sinking exercise.
Hmm.
So the Navy set up a new office to organize just getting rid of her.
Makes sense.
But I mean, they're going to need that office anyway
Yeah.
because the Nimitz class carriers are starting to get to the point where they're going to need to be disposed of.
Yeah.
So they have finally decided to use a commercial facility to break her up. The scrapping is set to begin in 2025.
Oh, wow. It's still kind of around.
Yes, she's still around. This process is anticipated to take 5 years.
That's massive.
Is supposed to be gone by 2013 or by 2030. Yeah.
And she hangs in there. I'll tell you that.
Hmm. Okay. So to finish her up, let's get through her awards and decorations that she earned through her 50 years of service.
Yeah, let's do. I'm excited.
She received the Joint Meritorious Unit Award. She received the Navy Unit Commendation 3 times, the Meritorious Unit Commendation 6 times. She received 3 Navy E ribbons. She received 2 Navy Expeditionary Medals. She received 2 National Defense Service Medals. She received 9 Armed Forces Expeditionary Medals. She received 10 Vietnam Service Medals, 4 Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medals, 2 Armed Forces Service Medals, 2 Humanitarian Service Medals, 12 Sea Service Deployment Ribbons, the Republic of Vietnam Meritorious Unit Citation with Gallantry Cross, the Republic of Vietnam Civil Action Unit Citation, and the Vietnam Campaign Medal.
That's a lot more medals than I've got.
Yeah. Uh, in 1986, the movie Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home was filmed.
Yes.
They used her in the movie.
No way.
That was the carrier that they boarded, the Enterprise.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they used the USS Ranger for the filming instead
Oh,
because the Enterprise was at sea.
right. Well, yeah, it's still cool from a story perspective. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure
absolutely.
if it was available, they would have done it.
Oh yeah, no, the I'm sure the Navy would have been like, oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Come on,
please.
guys. In 1986, she was used in filming of Top Gun as a setting in the filming of Top Gun.
Really? I didn't know that.
Hmm. The shots of the main characters' F-14s on the flight deck and general flight op scenes were filmed on board the Enterprise, as well as the Carl Vinson. Had to use the Carl Vinson because the real Enterprise ran aground at Cortez Bank. Yeah.
Well, it was getting up there in age, you know. You know how ships get.
The Ranger was again used for the interior shots.
Nice.
The Enterprise was also at the center of the Raft, a refugee flotilla in the 1992 novel Snow Crash.
Hmm.
All right, so that is the USS Enterprise CVN-65, the very first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier.
Wow, that was something else. I just kept getting amazed as we kept going, and wow, there's more? They were involved in that too? That's nuts.
Mhm.
Cuban Missile
All right,
Crisis, Vietnam, War on Terror, Iraqi War, and I think they
yeah.
supported yeah, okay. Yeah, go
They
back and
did a
listen to the episodes.
lot
There's a
of
lot of
things.
stuff there.
All right, so we're going to briefly cover, the new USS Enterprise CVN-80 because, of course, she's not done yet.
Right, but made with 35,000 pounds of recycled material.
Mhm. So, uh, she's being built by the Huntington Ingalls Energy Industries. She was laid down April 5th of 2022. Her planned launch is November of 2025.
Oh man.
She's sponsored by Katie Ledecky and Simone Biles.
I was gonna say, really? The
Mhm.
Olympic champions?
Absolutely. Her planned commissioning is gonna be in 2029.
That's quite a I mean, it's hard for me to think of projects in terms of that long, but I guess when you're dealing with something as massive and complex as a carrier, makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it's even after she's launched, the work does not stop of getting her ready to go until,
Yeah, years.
everything's done.
Whew. Well, here's hoping things are on time and under budget.
On time, don't count on it. Under budget, not gonna happen.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Government can't do anything under budget. Her displacement is being estimated at 100,000 tons fully loaded.
Oof.
Her length is projected to be 1,106 feet. Her beam is projected to be 134 feet. Her draft is projected to be 39 feet. She is projected to have two A1B nuclear reactors for her main power.
Mhm.
She's going to have four shafts. Her speed is estimated to be in excess of 30 knots.
Yeah, you can't be too, detailed with those kinda details.
No, you cannot. They will never tell you the actual specifications, even after they're gone.
Yeah, I would even go so far as to say, yeah, it can go at least 10 knots and have everybody
Mhm.
guessing. It's like 10, that seems awfully slow.
Her range is going to be estimated at 20 to 25 years.
It's incredible. Ugh.
She is projected to have a crew complement of 4,660 officers and sailors.
Mhm.
She is going to have surface to air missiles and the Sea Whiz close in weapon systems.
Okay.
She is projected to be able to carry up to 90 combat aircraft.
Wow.
Hmm. Her projected flight deck size is going to be 1,092 feet by 256 feet.
You could do hot laps on that.
Yeah. But so far, that is all of the specifications that we have right now.
That's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
90 aircraft. Wow, that's a bunch.
So on December 1st of 2012, during the presentation of a pre-recorded speech at the inactivation ceremony for the former Enterprise, the Secretary of the Navy at that time, Ray, announced that CVN-80 would be named Enterprise. She would be the ninth ship and the third aircraft carrier in history of the U.S. Navy to bear the name. She'd also be the first American supercarrier not to be named in honor of a person
Hmm.
since the USS America, which was commissioned in 1966.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Uh, Enterprise and America, I believe, are the only nuclear carriers that were not named after
Somebody?
somewhat,
Okay.
normally a president. In December of 2016, Ray chose the Olympic gold medalists to sponsor the ship.
Now, what does that mean to sponsor the ship? Because I think they're forking over some money for something, but that doesn't sound right.
No, it's a tradition of a female civilian who's invited to sponsor a vessel. This is to bestow good luck and divine protection over the vessel
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody who's on board her.
Nice. Well, they got some real winners that time. Holy moly.
Literally.
Yes.
The sponsor is technically considered a permanent member of the ship's crew and is expected to give a part of her personality to the ship, as well as being an advocate for its continued service and well
Wow.
being. The new Enterprises will have a direct upgrade in hangar space from the old one. She can hangar and house up to 50 mid sized aircraft and up to 20 mid sized helicopters,
Oh,
as well as several more large refueling and radar service aircraft as well. Let's see. So that is the newest Enterprise.
very cool.
I thought so.
Yeah. So when are we going to see the USS Dale afloat?
Oh, never.
Oh,
Not unless we build it ourselves.
hey, I got a weekend or two we could slap something together.
All right. So the next enterprise that we are going to talk about is actually a building.
What?
Yep. It is at the Recruit Training Command, Great Lake, Illinois. That is Naval Boot Camp and A School. It is Building 7155, USS Enterprise, Building 7155. It is the a recruit barracks. It's the 8th of 14 built, part of a $763 million recapitalization program.
Huh. I will say Enterprise is a lot catchier than Building 7155,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't know. I like that the ships are Enterprise. A building called Enterprise, I'll have to sit with that for a while and let it really eventually accept that.
Well, the street address is 3425 Sailor Drive.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, well, yeah, streets you name. That's buildings. I don't know.
Uh, the building has 120,000 square feet of
Nice.
space.
That's a lot to
This
clean.
is, yeah,
Sorry.
that's what the recruits do.
It's
There's enough space to accommodate 16 recruit divisions of 88.
wow.
It integrates berthing, classroom, learning resource centers, a galley, and a quarterdeck. Each of these quote unquote ships, it has a ship's officer who fills the role of the CO, a ship's leading chief petty officer who fills the role of command master chief, and a chaplain.
So it's like a simulated ship or what? I'm not It
Well,
sounds very similar to one.
they're called ships because it's
Yeah, Navy lingo.
Navy, Navy training.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, you got to learn all the terminology.
I guess yeah, okay. I'm with you. If they could make the building sway like you're at sea, That'd be pretty cool.
All right, so we're going to jump back in time to 1814 for another enterprise.
Whoa, okay.
hmm This is a steamboat.
Nice.
So she was owned by the Monongalia and Ohio Steamboat Company in Brownsville, Pennsylvania. She was built by Daniel French, and who designed and built the engine and powertrain. She was laid down in the fall of 1813 and launched May of 1814. She went into service June 17th of 1814, and she was out of service after August 5th of 1816.
It's a very short life.
Well, this is also a long time ago.
Yeah, and cutting edge of, I guess, steam technology, so probably not had some kinks to work out, we'll say.
Yeah. She was between 60 and 70 feet long, had a beam of 15 feet, and a draft of 2.5 feet. She was powered by one steam engine, one stern wheel, which was 8 feet in diameter, and two masts equipped with sails. She was armed with one gun located on the bow, just for saluting.
Oh, perfect. That's good.
Yes. All right. So she was under the command of Israel Gregg, who he first used her to transport passengers and cargo between ports of Brownsville and Louisville in Kentucky. From June to December, she completed two 600-mile voyages from Louisville to Pittsburgh that were performed against strong river currents. With these voyages, the Enterprise demonstrated her for the first time that steamboat commerce was practical on the Ohio River.
Nice.
On December 2nd, General Andrew Jackson had marched from Mobile, Alabama to New Orleans with orders to impose a military invasion by an overwhelming British force. Jackson had been making frequent requests for military supplies, especially small firearms and ammunition that were, of course, in short supply.
Right.
So, to this end, the shareholders made the decision to send the Enterprise. So, command was transferred to Henry Miller Shreve, who was a Brownsville resident and experienced keelboat captain, who had firsthand knowledge of the hazards of navigation of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. On December 24th of 1814, the Enterprise departed Pittsburgh, bound for New Orleans, with a cargo of cannonballs, gun carriages, smith's tools, boxes of harnesses, and tack. On December 28th, she passed the Falls of Ohio at Louisville, delivering the cargo of supplies at the port of New Orleans on January 9th of 1815. Uh, so that will bring us to the Battle of New Orleans. So, under normal circumstances, the voyage into Louisiana's waters would have been a violation of the territorial steamboat monopoly granted to Robert L. Livingston and Robert Fulton.
Hmm.
But the Enterprise was protected from the monopolies and free to navigate the waters by the martial law imposed by General Andrew Jackson.
Huh. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So even though the Enterprise delivered military supplies, Jackson's forces were still in very, very short supply, especially for small arms, gunpowder, and shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they received reports that several boats with military supplies were near Natchez. So Jackson sent the Enterprise. They located them, and the Enterprise took them in tow, delivering them to New Orleans.
Wow.
She then made another voyage back to Natchez and returned to the port of New Orleans by February 12th, 1815, when she was entered for the first time in the New Orleans Wharf Register as Steamboat Captain Shreve. She then steamed up the Red River to Alexandria with 250 troops and then went back to New Orleans. Um, so that's where we're gonna actually leave her for
Oh,
this
man, it's
episode.
on the cusp of the battle. How exciting.
So at the end of all of our episodes, we like to honor one of our fallen angels. And today we are going to honor Gunnery Sergeant Floyd C. Hawley. His hometown was Castleberry, Florida, served with the U.S. Marine Corps, 7th Engineer Support Battalion, 1st Marine Logistics Group, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. Received a Bronze Star and Purple Heart. His date of sacrifice was August 29th, 2010, killed in action in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. He was 36 years old. Floyd Hawley was serving his first tour in Afghanistan following 2 combat tours in Iraq. In the face of enemy fire, his explosive ordnance disposal team cleared a route that enabled the 1st Platoon to seize a key area of high ground west of Safar Bazaar. Hawley was posthumously awarded the Bronze Star in 2011. Hawley wrestled and played linebacker for the Lyman High School football team, Longwood, Florida. He also ran track and played football for Central Methodist College in Fayette, Missouri. In November of 97, Hawley enlisted in the Marine Corps and attended recruit training at Parris Island, South Carolina. Upon graduation, he was assigned to 1st Radio Battalion at Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. During his tour there, he was deployed to Kuwait in support of the 1st Intelligence Battalion and also went with Joint Task Force Full Accounting to Vietnam. Hawley re-enlisted and was accepted into the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Program in May of 2001, then departed for Naval Explosive Ordnance Disposal School at Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, in August of that year. During this deployment, Hawley served in Iraq, Kenya, and Djibouti, Africa. Hawley also served his country in Vietnam and returned to Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. After completing tours in Iraq in 2003 and 2007, Gunnery Sergeant Hawley signed up for a tour in Afghanistan. Signed to the 7th Engineer Support Battalion, 1st Marine Logistics Group, based at Camp Pendleton, Hawley was killed in action in Helmand Province. Gunnery Sergeant Hawley's Bronze Star for citation describes his actions. During Operation Roundhouse 2, Hawley led his team on a night assault to seize high ground west of Safar Bazaar. It was known to be a key to the enemy's defensive plan for Safar Bazaar. When they entered the area, he immediately led his team into an action without hesitation or regard for his own safety and began to clear the area of IEDs. Following the route he courageously cleared, 1st Platoon was able to seize the area. For days without the chance of reinforcement, he searched, found, and disposed of numerous explosives in the surrounding area, often in the face of enemy small arms fire. On August 29, 2010, while disarming an IED under enemy small arms fire, Hawley was mortally wounded by a premature detonation. So, Gunnery Sergeant Floyd C. Hawley, we thank you.
Thank you.
All right, XO, take us out.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for listening to us. There's a lot of different things on the internet you could be listening to, but you're here. So thanks. It's really wonderful to have somebody to learn alongside. You know what I mean? If you ever want to get a hold of us, or if there's something in the episode that you have a personal connection to that you want to share, and then we can share on your behalf, there's a couple of ways to get in contact with us. You can email us. The email address is usnavyhistorypodcast@gmail.com. We're also on x.com or twitter.com, whichever you prefer.
X-Twitter.
X-Twitter. And then that's the handle there is US. Oh gosh, I always mess this up. US Navy. No, USN History Pod. There we go. USN History Pod. I'm almost sure that's right. But if you doubt me, which you should, I mean, realistically, go to the show notes. The links are all there. And while you're there, you'll see the link to the Discord server that I mentioned in this episode. And yes, I'm now reminding myself I need to upload the picture of the two enterprises side by side. And then you'll be able to see that and then talk to folks, share stuff, the usual. But yeah, we're really happy you're here. And if you're also happy to be here, you should rate us. Rate, review, let us know what you think of the show, and then also that helps us kinda get the word out. So, thanks, Cap.
Well, with that, we're going to wish y'all fair winds and following seas. Bye.
Bye-bye.